Hello and welcome to the Apex Racing League Renault 3.5 Championship live on Apex Racing TV. I'm Sam Fitzpatrick. Alongside me this afternoon is Marco Barbanir. And Marco, second round of the championship because you were around at Silverstone. We got a decent impression of what the racing is going to be like in this car and how it's quite different to the MP4-30.
Absolutely. Hello everyone. Hello Sam. It was a great round in Silverstone, and we had some absolutely fantastic close wheel-to-wheel racing, a lot of overtakes. And you know, Sam, you have a lot of experience doing this job. You watched a lot of races in Silverstone, and you know that the track is not an easy one to make overtakes. And still, we had some great action both in race 1 and in race 2. So today at the Nurburgring GP track, with two very nice passing opportunities, because we have the hard braking zones in the first corner and the final chicane, since we are using the slower version, so a big braking zone there. I'm expecting more of the same, a lot of exciting stuff, and I don't want to put pressure on these drivers, but I think they are going to put on an even better show than what we had at Silverstone.
Yeah, Silverstone's an odd circuit. I've seen BSRTC Pro Series, very few overtakes. No offense to Scott Malcolm, but I think that quite helped him winning his first ever BSRTC race, I think after 500 attempts or something. Got into pole position, led the race, and pretty much no one could overtake him. So really is difficult to overtake around, and we've also seen, I think the Year of the Eights and the iRacing World Championship Series quite difficult to overtake around Silverstone. Around here, of course, we also saw a race in the World Championship Series earlier this season, where again it was quite difficult to overtake. You haven't got really any long straights, which is quite unusual for, you know, modern day circuits. It's not really got a perfect overtake in place, but of course, like you said, Marco, a couple of big braking points, and we're just starting qualifying now. 10 minutes for the drivers. They've got 2 laps to set. And what was the strategy actually last time with this, Marco? Can they, is it go out on an out lap and then set 2 fast laps? I think that's it. I don't think they can change tyres between their 2 laps, can they?
No, and you know, the tire wear is not that significant. I talked to Kevin Ellis Jr., who was in the booth with us, of course, league organizer, iRacing World Championship driver for Apex Racing UK, and he said that, and many of the drivers told us after the race, that the tire degradation is not as big as in the MP430. It's not very noticeable. The thing that is very important, and I talked to the guys, is in qualifying you have to time your run in a good moment, especially when the sun is behind the clouds. Now I'm seeing from the onboard shots from Josh Thompson that there are not many clouds in the sky, so I think most of the drivers are already out trying to do their lap times as fast, as early as they can. They don't want this weather to change, or they don't want the track to get any hotter than this, because Sam, of course, this is something that we will have to deal from now on in iRacing, and it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. It's super. A little bit more difficult for ourselves, but it's just fascinating to kind of keep an eye on that temperature. Currently 37 degrees Celsius. It's only 18 air temperature, but 37 degrees Celsius track temperature. So yeah, quite a difference. I've rarely seen that. So yeah, reading the track, yeah, kind of bubbling up right now. And well, clearly maybe that sun is making quite a big effect, but we'll keep an eye on it, because just a couple of degrees can really change the speed of these cars. Although there was a change in the most recent build. Apparently the thermal kind of wear on the tires has been about halved by the iRacing team, just to make that make it a little bit more realistic before, of course, the long-awaited tire version 7 comes out. But we'll have to wait a little bit longer for that, as we see PORSCHE. This has been quite a clean lap seemingly so far for him, and of course was so strong last time out at Silverstone. And well, yeah, he'll be hoping to back that up this afternoon.
Yeah, temporary pole sitter Jerome Hag is around, so yeah, I think he wasted his second lap. Matteo Calestani now is on his second flying lap as well, with his beautiful blue and green race car.
Seems to be quite a big difference in the drivers who have kind of nailed this car so far, Mike. Of course, we kind of see this, it's a bit similar to, like a new rules regulations for a real life series where, you got a team who straight away make a bit of a jump with whatever. And I think this is kind of the same in iRacing because some teams would have been able to put a lot of work into finding how to really extract that extra pace from this car. Maybe we see a little bit of differential at the start of the season. I think as the season goes on, though, I think it's more and more competitive, particularly at the pointy end of the grid.
Yes, absolutely. In the first round, it was the learn to race drivers, Boris PORSCHE and of course Martin van Loosenhoorn, who just now set the fastest time of the race. They were the guys that seemed to have something, up their sleeve in terms of setup, in terms of pace, and their teammate Danny Cross could have been third in both races, but he had problems in race 1 and in race 2 starting from the back, but he still was able to make a big comeback. Today we have some new contenders that didn't race in race 1. Jerome Hag, who's now sitting in second, Joshua Chin sitting in third place, and these two guys are splitting, Van Loosenhoorn and PORSCHE, who are first and fourth. Here comes PORSCHE, and he doesn't improve himself. He's still sitting in P4, so the learn to race domination of the front row in the first round of the season doesn't come back in the second round, even though it's a very good first and fourth place for him. And here is Danny Cross. Sam, I am a very professional broadcaster, so yesterday or 2 days ago I strapped myself and my 1000 iRating into this car because the official series is also running on this track this week, and some weeks we are going to have this, some weeks not, and I'm thankful for that because we are avoiding VIR, who's on the schedule of the official series, but not here, so I don't have to buy the track. So almost 5 years in running that I don't have to buy the track. Hopefully it stays like this. So I did a race as Partington goes into P3, and I have to say you have to absolutely avoid the curbs no matter what you do, because especially in the faster corners like the Schumacher S, if you hit the curb you are going for a spin. Now I don't know if you can see it, but if you look very carefully in the final corner, in the right side wall, the pit wall, you could still see my car lodged in after I wrecked halfway through my race, and I got stuck there. So I think they had to do some big repairs to get the racetrack ready for this event on Sunday the 23rd of December. So we're getting closer and closer to the end of the year. Team Greven sitting in P20. We also have a last minute entrant. It's Rolf Just with this beautiful STP livery. It reminds us of the beautiful car of King Richard Petty, a legendary NASCAR driver. Some nice liveries all over the field. Let's hope that he can get a lap in for his qualifying.
Yes, he's new entrant. Some confusion about him joining the league, so I'm not sure how much practice he's been able to get, but hopefully, I think Rolf has got quite a lot of experience, to be fair, particularly in league events, and so should be very prepared for this one. I do always like these single-seat cameras. It's just something weird about it. I don't know if it's nostalgia or something, but yeah, it's great to see these drivers, and of course you see the elevation change going through the Schumacher. Just holding back quite a bit at the moment. Just wants to put in a decent time. But very interesting grid currently at the front. We've got the top 5 drivers, top 6 drivers separated by just a second. So it looks as though we're going to have a competitive day of racing. Of course, 20-minute first race, and then the second race will be a reverse grid. It'll be anything between 10 and 20 drivers, so it really does test the drivers' all-round skill. Their pace in race 1, and then their overtaking in race 2. And of course, anyone who's ever seen any of the BSR leagues, for example, will know they are quite different to one another. It's just comes up to the line, and well, he'll go 20th place. He's about 9 seconds off the pace, but I'm sure he's going to be able to improve on that once we come to the race, and just puts in a clean lap there. We've got about 15 more seconds of qualifying, but of course the drivers can complete the laps that they start within the allotted time.
Yeah, 2 laps and 2 off tracks for Josh Thompson, so he's in the back of the pack. Ashley Beard just joined the server. There is not any more time. So yeah, qualifying is over, and on your screen we have the starting grid for this race.
Yes, it's Martin van Loosenot. So far, 100% record in this series where he's trying to back that up. But he was only 2 tenths clear of Jerome Haag in qualifying. They start on the front row. Michael Partington, good second race start for him alongside Joshua Chenkos, new to the series. Then there's Boris Spolstra. He's going to have a tough job from 5th. I don't think he's got too much more pace in him, so we could see a fascinating battle for the podium. Then it's Matej Kalstani, then he crows Brian Daly. And then it's Joe Ringrose doing well in 9th place. Then it's Alessandro Riccatello in 10th. Then it's Wilson, Mott, Howard, Gafenku, Noel, Cudmore, McNally, Rose, Berta, and then of course the drivers who did not set qualifying times, Thompson, Greven, and Ashley Beard. Hopefully will take the grid. I think he is on the grid already, so that's good to see.
So let's remember, 20-minute race, and we have 8 activations of the push to pass. No matter where you are on the track, in front, behind, you want to defend, you want to attack, the same 8 activations these guys will have in the longer 40-minute race. So it's going to be a very, very important stuff to take notice because of the strategy, and I think we're about to start.
Yeah, here we go. Martin van Loosenot from the pole position. And away we go here at Nurburgring. And it's a very good start for him. Just about covers off the other drivers. Now, maybe around the outside. Could Partington have a chance? No. Going around the outside is Haag. He's going to try to take the lead, but he's just too deep. And straight away, pulling away. Partington couldn't quite take advantage there. We've got Spolstra already up 1 position. A couple of drivers a little bit slow there, but he seems to be relatively okay. No, Riccatello is round as we've got Chin going side by side with Kalistani there. And Chin already lost 1 place to Spolstra. Does not want to lose another. I think Kalistani might be losing a position here. Crows round the outside of him now, and there could be contact. It's Massa Alonso-esque, but Kalistani this time wins out.
Yeah, Jamie Wilson is around there. Let's go back to the front with Van Loosenot having a 0.9 of a second. And there's Byron Daly side by side with Danny Crows, and Danny Crows makes the move. Danny Crows is very, very fast, especially in the race, in race pace. We saw that in the first round at Silverstone, as you see Spolstra on the defensive side with Chin, and they touch. You could see there Chin was quite clearly using the DRS, still side by side. Great stuff from these 2 guys. Chin has the position.
That was ever so close. I don't know how they didn't spin there. As we're going to go to the side, we might even go 3 wide. This would be an insane move down the inside of the pair of them. And there's contact. It was always going to happen. Kalistani does gain 2 positions from it, but that was always going to happen when you go 3 wide into a corner like that. Spolstra falls down the field. He's down into 11th.
Of course, let's keep an eye on the chat, because we are going to have more probably than not, we are going to have penalties, and we have active stewarding for this race, so it's going to be something interesting to see. As in this first corner, you see drivers going side by side, left and right. It's always a tricky corner as Ringrose and Daly are fighting with. You see Ringrose with his classic VRT livery. And of course, it's Daly with the Scuderia Carolina Valvoline livery, and he's off.
Well, that was just unlucky. I think there was some contact, some major net code there, which was super unlucky for Daly, because it was just a drop of connection for Ringrose, and you can see he's struggling for his connection. That's the risk that you can play. He is up 2 positions, so up into 7th place. Ringrose having a good day of it in the BRT e-racing driver, as Kroos and Chin go side by side. Once again, Chin, he's just going to be run out of room there. And there's contact between the 2 of them. Chin goes through Cruz. I don't know if he hit the wall there, but this is really quite harsh racing right now, Micah. not holding back, and I think that's a little bit unwise at this point.
Yes, and also Cine went a bit wide there. So for the third race in a row, Danny Cross has got a problem on in the opening laps, and he has to start from scratch once again. I don't think he hit the wall. Let's get a replay of that.
It's difficult to tell whose fault this was because I think Kroos was trying to cover him off. Nah, I think that was just, it was Chin's fault, wasn't it? Really, there was no room on the inside there, and Kroos just got tagged around.
I agree with you, as another lap is in the books. Martin van Loozenhoorn is the leader.
Yeah, so I was just going to say Haas really close to Gafenko. We've also got PORSCHE and Mott as well. It's 2 by 2 going into turn 1, and PORSCHE is going to exit it in the lead and actually losing 2 positions potentially here. There's more contact though. Thompson is now around, and what you were talking about having to do all the work again, well, Thompson's going to have to do that now, and there could be more contact, but he did well just avoid that. And Thompson, as he got quite serious damage, I'm not sure, he's driving quite slowly seemingly.
Let's go on board. He almost collected Pitaro. The front right of the front wing is damaged, as you can see from this shot, and so I think he will have to go for a ride into the pits as we go on front, and we see Michael Partington is around from third position.
Well, everyone else is crashing and spinning behind him. He had quite a comfortable podium coming his way. Not anymore for Michael Partington. He's back down into 7th.
He was at turn 8, the hairpin coming out, too much power, I think, too eager on the throttle, and he went around. You have to absolutely respect this car. I mean, when you come out of the corners, you have to be really, really gentle, and now Partington is in P7, so like I was saying to you as Cadmore is around as well, like I was saying to you in the, before we went on the air, this is a far cry from the days of the MP430.
Yeah, definitely, and yeah, different challenges certainly. But maybe these drivers just driving a little bit liberally currently so far, just not respecting the car quite as much as Thompson, well, gets back past Gafenko. I think that's the 2nd time he's now passed him. Which Gafenko, good driver of course, but down in 13th place, Pete Howard as well. You know, a driver who certainly we've seen in the V8 supercar and many other cars. He adapts usually quite quickly, but down in 14th currently for CQR. And it really does show the quality of the field and the quality of this car. We've got a fantastic midfield scrap though. Pretty much everyone from 3rd down to 16th, pretty much all in a train.
Yes, let's see, because I think that Daly wants to get a move done on Anthony Mott, and Danny Cross is behind them. Let's go on board with Cross. Seems like his car is okay. Front wing seems okay after, well, he got hit from behind, as we see. Daly trying to go on the inside of Mott, not able to make the move, and then he has a little bit of a moment there, as these 4 guys are basically bumper to bumper as they go through the Schumacher S. And we'll see if Daly goes for a move. No, it's Cross going for a move. Daly is wide. Can he keep the position? He can't. So, great move from Danny Cross. He's up to P10.
And now Thompson's surely going to get boxed in here. No, he should just be okay around the outside there. Mott has got a penalty, by the way, for avoidable contact, so they don't need to overtake him. Thompson, yeah, just backing out of that one, seemingly a little bit more slipstream for Daly. Thompson maybe thinking better of it, as Mott does serve his stop-go penalty now. As Thompson looking for the run, and this should be pretty simple for him down this straight. Maybe not. Will he be willing to use the DRS perhaps? I'm not quite sure, as he goes to the inside, and well, this should be quite simple. Yeah, I think he did have the DRS open there, and through he goes. Still not giving up is Daly, but eventually he is going to have to. Thompson up into the top 10.
So, as Ringrose disappears and reappears once again, the damage on the front wing of Thompson was a netcode damage, because it has popped out back into his normal shape, so hopefully his car is feeling fine. Spoelstra sitting in P6, second in race 1 and race 2 in the first round of the championship, so he's got some work to do. Now he's behind Ringrose and Partington, another driver that's trying to get some positions back after his mistake.
Could we just go back to lap 1 with the Kalistani incident where he managed to gain a couple of positions into the cane? Because that would be fascinating to see on board with that overtake, because it was a decent effort, but of course
Oh,
that's
who's
quite
that? It's
important
Joshua
as
Chin.
Chin has dropped it. And well, that's another driver who had stood a chance of a podium, losing control. And now Michael Partington, who also had a chance, who dropped it himself. He's looking for a move, but Chin will just about hold on for now. But maybe into the final corner, he might not be able to resist the attack as Partington down the inside and Chin not putting up too much of a defense seemingly.
It must have been a very lazy spin because it's not in the event viewer from the overlay. So he must have spun at a very low speed, Chin there, and now Partington cannot make the move. Also, Spoelstra is trying to get a move on Ringrose for P4. In the meantime, Kalistani is on P3, basically without doing too much work, I think.
Yeah, apart from that move on the opening lap, he hasn't had to really do too much. Out in the lead, of course, Luzenord and Haag have been absolutely error-free, but apart from that, pretty much everyone has had their issues out there. Ringrose has really profited. He started in 9th place, he's up into 5th, but for how much longer? Because he's got 3 very quick drivers, 3 drivers who ought to be way up the road, but you feel as though Joe, if he can be quite wily with his defence, he might be able to hold them back at least for a few laps.
Yes, he has to be careful because I think that Spoelstra is very fast, and look at that on the inside. At the left-hander here, he thinks about it. In the meantime, in the back, you can see Partington very close to Chin. Like I say many times, we need a split screen from iRacing to show all this stuff at once, because this is absolutely fantastic. A slow car there, but I think it's a lapped car. I think it was Ashley Beard.
I believe, yeah.
Yeah, so that is all good. As we complete another lap, 10 minutes in the books, so 10 minutes to go, and look at Ringrose trying to break the draft, but it's not going to be easy with a very quick Spoelstra behind him. And he moves on the left and now on the right and back on the left. That was Daniel Ricciardo-esque, but with no avail. He wasn't able to complete the pass.
Really good defense there from Ringrose. I don't know if he maybe saw the dummy coming from Spoelstra, but he stuck to his line. He didn't go to the outside. Otherwise, that certainly would have been the overtake for Spoelstra, as we see Kroes and Daly once again. Kroes around the outside. And just about hanging on for now. In fact, that's an overtake on Daly, apologies. And Gafencu also maybe going through. He's going to go on the inside into this one, but it's not usually an overtaking spot as he nearly runs into the back of his rival. Once again, Daly will get a little bit of slipstream, should be able to protect off his rival for now, as Chin and Partington go side by side once again, and this time Partington's going to be able to make the move, and now he can go chase after Ringrose and Spoelstra just ahead, as Spoelstra goes down to the inside. He nearly pulled off this move on the last lap. I think this might be the time that he does pull it off, and he is up into 4th position.
We are having some absolutely cracking racing today in this first race. Sam, you were not with us for the first round, but I think now you can understand why I was saying that this is not like the MP430. This is some proper battle all over the field. Look at that, Daly, Gafencu once again at the final chicane, and Gafencu gets the move done, and now Pete Harrod for CQR also going for a move.
I don't think Daly's got any damage up there, but he's now down 4 places from his start as he actually comes back. He's trying to make that 3 positions once again. And, well, we've seen a lot of drivers kind of struggling to defend against each other. The slipstream effect seemingly very strong. As Gafencu, I think, is going to lose out on this one, but he's very wide at turn 1. He should have the inside for turn 2, but no, he can't get the traction down. And Daly responds back up into 11th.
Yes, absolutely. I talked to some of the drivers after the first round, and they said that the slipstream effect is quite noticeable in this car. When you get very close to your opponent in the corners, you have some aero push, which is of course expected because of the massive downforce of this car. But you know, once again, you can make you can make up for it with the great slipstream and of course the DRS that you can use 8 times. So this is why I think we are having races so lively, because these guys can actually, you know, close the gap to each other, make the moves. Look at that, Partington on Ringrose. Wow, great pass. Very clean defending by Ringrose. He didn't put too much of a fight. He knows that he's in a good position regardless, and Partington is up to P5.
Yeah, and PORSCHE might be catchable just ahead. We've still got a while to go in this race, still just under 7 minutes to go. Oh, wow. So, Kroos, you were saying how he's failed to have a clean race so far. He's backing that up today. He's down into 13th position once again, and I may even have damage as well.
Let's see, went, and he slightly tapped the barriers there, so I think he's okay, no damage. But once again, we were talking about this earlier in the before the beginning of the broadcast, talking about another championship, but applies to this as well. Consistency is key.
Well, that's good thinking. Just about Holsop had. I'm sure these two have had plenty of battles previously in BSR leagues and whatnot. But yeah, this is quite different currently. Excite Racing versus CQR. Excite Racing, of course, brilliant livery. CQR not bad either, of course. And they're not too far behind Daly either, as I think Cudmore just got past Rose as well. I'm not quite sure. But that's a change for 15th position.
So Kroos, I think Kroos spun. Yes, he spun. Rocatello passed him. Coming out of the Mercedes Arena, we have the two Team Chimera teammates, Joshua Chin and Wilson, but also, who's that? Josh Thompson also in the mix, and he gets the move done on Wilson. So, gotta be careful, because I think Thompson is still, I mean, this car can take a hit, because we've seen many drivers go hard on the curves, spinning, brushing the wall. Look at that, because Wilson is using, I think, the DRS on Thompson at the chicane side by side, and Thompson keeps the position. And this, of course, gives Joshua Chin a little bit of breathing room to pull away from Thompson. P7, P8, P9 in the shot with, in front of them, you see him, is Joseph Ringrose.
Frustrating this one for Thompson, because if it weren't for that spin we saw earlier on, he could have well been kind of fighting for 4th and 5th right now, but instead it's 6th and 7th that he's going to be catching up to. Chin and Ringrose, though, quite a bit off the pace, lapping in the high 40s. I think Thompson is even in the 39s, so very much catchable for Thompson if he can get a move on. As PORSCHE, he's coming under increasing pressure from Partington. 3 tenths faster on that last lap for the Englishman. I think he's English. He's certainly British, I think. And yeah, he's closing in very nicely.
Let's see, Mike Partington here, and the flag on his name is English. Confirmed.
Ah, okay. Of course, it seems as though the top 3 pretty much set. Van Loosenord now 8 seconds clear of Haag. Hadn't really noticed that gap coming up so much, but he's absolutely dominating up there, just as he did at Silverstone. Haag, of course, driving really well though. 2nd, and then Kalistani pretty much just profiting from other drivers' errors in 30s. Not particularly quick is Kalistani. In fact, on that last lap, he was over seconds slower than Partington, but he should have plenty enough for picking up what I think would be his first podium of the season.
A mistake there from Ringrose, you see, coming out of the final corner. It's not the first time that he does that. Not good exit, and I think that Chin will have the move done on the outside. But also look at Thompson.
Just looking every which way for an opening here is Josh Thompson. As Ringrose once again disappears. This is difficult right now for Chin, as they're going to make contact, and now they're inside one another because of the lag. And, well, Ringrose still defending hard. Chin having to get the cutback. It's every corner right now, just the cutback for Chin, but he can't quite pull it into a move currently. Thompson is right on the tail now, and maybe Chin is going to go from gaining position to losing one. He's not listening, though, because he is going to gain a position. Thompson looking to the inside as well. Ringrose very kind there, leaving plenty of room on the inside, and he almost loses it, and he's going to lose 3 positions. in the mats over a couple of corners.
And Thompson might go for a move on Chin, the hairpin, and he does so.
Chin might have a decent response. He's just pulling ahead. Will he be willing to pull this one through as he goes around the outside? Brilliant action through the center S. As Thompson's going to have a good run into this one, but just deciding to stay behind. And now can Chin's teammate, Wilson, Team Chimera,
Spolstra!
maybe help each other as Spolstra has another spin and a crash.
So, a lot of drivers being caught out by the track. And he's out of the race, I think. Yes, he's out of the race, so everyone behind him gets promoted one place. And Thompson and Chin putting on a show for us today as we...
Oh, down goes Thompson. He's going to tap the wall. And also Ringrose. Oh, that's so unlucky for him. He might be okay. But Thompson out of the race. Was he disqualified there or something? Not quite sure. But he's very quickly disappeared.
Yeah, I think that's what happened because he disappeared immediately. And he's going to have a tough time coming back from that in race 2, I think. So he's dropping and dropping and dropping. So let's watch that problem for Spolstra. Many drivers spun in this corner and also after the hairpin. See, tapping the dirt on the outside of that curve there, and that's all she wrote for Spolstra.
Don't know if that was a disqualification or not, but I feel as though he could have maybe...
No. He jumped to the pits. He jumped to the pits.
Yeah, it's just, you know, he smacked the front wing, of course, but I don't think there was any wheel damage. Thought he maybe he got a bit frustrated there. But Lucenord is just about going to force another lap. We've got 11 seconds to go. So, well, he could just stop here and then cross the line. But no, he's willing to do another lap. That would be quite horrendous if he now crashed on this last one, losing the race.
He's having too much fun. He wants to continue to race there, and he could do well. We had Riccardo Orozco as the dominator in the iRacing Grand Prix Championship last season. Not very, very aggressive on Rose, and he pays the price for it with a mistake there. Roccatello under pressure from Cadmore. So we had Orozco as the dominator in the first season, in the last season when we had the MP430, and now Martin van Luzenord seems like he wants to put his mark on this championship, winning race 1 and race 2 at Silverstone and getting closer and closer to a race 1 victory here at the Nurburgring as well. As Ringrose on the final lap is out of the race.
Yeah, he picked up a lot of damage and he was really ailing, was about 15 seconds off the pace, I believe, and has been asked by race control to park it. Really unlucky there for Ringrose because he was one of the only drivers out there who hasn't kind of made a mistake. He managed to get up into P4, dropped down a couple more positions, but still looking like a really good result for him. And of course, he got caught up in that Thompson issue. Martin van Luzenord, though, anything but for him. He's 10 seconds out in the lead, and he's going to make it 3 out of 3. Later on, it's going to be quite so easy in the second race. He's going to be starting at highest 10th. Right now, very much on our high is Martin van Luzenord for Learn to Race, and he wins race 1 at Nurburgring. Jerome Haag is going to be next through, and well, for a rookie performance, that was not bad whatsoever for Jerome Haag. He finishes on the podium, and Matteo Calistani under a little bit of pressure near the end. He's only 4 seconds ahead of Mike Partington, but he'll finish in third, and Partington himself will be delighted with 4th after throwing away a podium about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, Roccatello was in front of Cadmore, but now made a mistake at turn 8, and he's been overtaken. Billy Rose and Anthony Mott are once again battling after the contact they had in the previous lap. Seems like Mott won't be able to get the move done, as all the other drivers you see on the left side of your screen are coming to the checkered flag. Maybe Mott will go for a move here. Has to be very careful. Oof.
But these two are the last two, so if they crash, it's not going to affect the result. So Rose may as well go for it, but he can't seem to find an opening. and he's just going to have to stay behind his rival unless he's got some kind of extra boost across the line. No, it's going to be Rose just about hanging on against in, well, that ended up being 13th and 14th, I believe. So, the results from race 1 here at Nurburgring meeting 2 of the season. Martin Van Leeuwen taking away the race victory ahead of Jerome Haag. Then was Matej Kastanje. Very solid podium for him. Michael Partington in 4th. Josh Chin, well, he'll be pleased with 5th. Good recovery drive with Jamie Wilson after a spin, I think, on the opening lap. He did well to finish in 6th. Not bad for CAMARO. Byron Daly in 7th. Well, how did he end up there? He was falling down the field. But with all the chaos happening in the final few laps, ends up in 7th. There was Pete Howard, Richard Gafenke, and Danny Kroes around the top 10. Behind that was Cudmore, Rose, Mott, Vocatello, McNally, Ringrose, so unlucky in 16th. Spolstra, of course, second in Silverstone, 17th here at Nürburgring. Then it's Thompson, Beard, Grieven, Knoll, Berta, and just 23rd place.
Yes, and I think it's time for the reverse wheel. I think. If I can find it. Here we go. Oh, it should be on your screen right now. Now I will spin the wheel. We'll have to wait for official confirmation of the reverse when we get into the second session, because it will be, you know, the league organizers will, I don't remember the rules, here is why. So I spin and they will decide who starts on pole position. So let's roll it. Okay, so it's 19 reverse.
Wow.
So if everyone is allowed in the reverse grid, the pole sitter will be, if I can get it on the screen right now, yes, it should be Ashley Beard, but we will see. I think everyone is eligible, but we will know for sure. Another reason to hang on with us after the commercial break, Sam, because race 2 is coming, right?
Yes, yeah, so 19th. If it's one lap down, which could be Ringrose on pole position, which would be Karma after being taken out in race 1. So yeah, we'll be back in about 25 minutes time for race 2 of the afternoon.
Before you can get on track, you'll need to calibrate your wheel and pedal set. You'll need to do this in iRacing even if you have already done this using your own controller software. Prior to entering the sim, make sure you've downloaded and installed the latest drivers from the manufacturer's website. Once that's done, follow these easy steps to calibrate your controller. We recommend calibrating in a test session, so pick a car and then click test. Don't go into a practice or official session. The last thing you want to do is have you go on track and crash into another car. Once you're in your test session, click on the options button. You will then see input calibration. This is where your calibration takes place. Start by clicking on the steering button. You will then be prompted to turn your wheel fully one direction and then another. Make sure you place your wheel back into its centering position before hitting done. Now, you'll be asked to turn your wheel 90 degrees to the left. Make sure it's at 90 and hold it there while hitting done. For pedals, click on the pedals button. Here you'll be asked to press the throttle all the way down and then release it. You'll do the same for the brake and clutch pedal if you have one. For the gearbox, you'll first be asked to set buttons for sequential shifting. Once complete, a prompt will ask if you have a H pattern shifter. If not, hit no. If yes, click it and you'll begin to map the gears individually. Once you've completed these steps, you are calibrated and ready to go racing. Team racing allows multiple iRacing members to team up and race together, just like in real-world endurance series. Teammates can share driving duties, spot for one another, or be a crew chief. Team racing is free both to join a team and to create one. Each teammate races on his or her own computer from wherever they want to. Your teammates can be anywhere in the world, and changing drivers mid-race is as easy as a click of a button. iRacing features team endurance events ranging from just a couple of hours to 24 hours in length. So, if you fancy taking part in an iRacing endurance race in the future, you can learn more about team racing on the teams page on the member website. The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Last year I was sitting at a desk as a sales manager, and now I'm official McLaren F1 simulated test driver.
So there's 1.4 behind.
This opportunity is huge.
That's it, 46 watt. That's faster than the factory McLaren driver, and he's done 6 laps.
Let's go race.
My name is Steven Corpenos. I'm a senior web developer here at iRacing, and I work on the beta UI. It's funny because iRacing has been around for 10 years, but we want to keep delivering the best possible user experience to our customers, and we've found that the old UI isn't exactly what we're trying to deliver in 2018. We want to use new features and provide the best possible experience when using the sim. One of the projects that I've been working on is some custom heat racing configuration for hosted races. We've been listening to our customers. Everyone's been asking for custom heat races. Maybe you want to tweak a few things with the preset iRacing configurations. Well, now you can using the beta UI. So once you're at the home page of the beta UI, you just go to create a race. And from there you go to your set race options. And you'll notice here under event types, you can actually choose heat racing. First, I'm going to show you how to create a new format from scratch. You can choose the number of entrants. And as you can see, when I made that change, the change was actually reflected on the right side in the graph. Also, you can use the estimated duration at the bottom of the graph when you're changing the length to see what the total duration of your event will be. In addition, you can customize every aspect of the session information, practice, qualifying, heat races, consolations, and of course, the final feature race. Because the beta UI allows us to develop features that are robust and complex, this feature will be exclusively available on the beta UI. Once you've made all of the changes, you can hit save. Say you forgot what you selected. You can always preview it using the preview format button. We are very excited to release the brand new heat racing configuration feature that will be available in Season 3 of iRacing.
to the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Ray Alfala into the outside wall.
He's going to pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's going to get them all done with. What amazing.
Lead to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is going to touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save.
Look to the outside as Trunke goes off. De Jong into second place.
I'm going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
I tried, there's contact though. Slide left to the racetrack. Chris Renner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cut back here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there.
Welcome back to the Apex Racing League Renault 3.5 Championship live on Apex Racing TV. I'm Sam Fitzpatrick, and back alongside me is Marco Barnett for race 2 of the afternoon. And Marco, race 1 was absolutely superb. We saw lots of incidents, let's say, but I think this race 2 is going to be really enjoyable. 40 minutes. We got a big reverse grid as well, and I think we've got a couple of drivers out of position, so an opportunity for a couple of the top drivers who so far haven't got a race victory to claim one in this one.
Absolutely, you are right. As you see, the cloud cover has moved over the track. Let's see if we'll have the same for the race. No, we don't, because the sun is shining. You are right. We have a longer race. It's going to be interesting to see the strategy for this race, because the push to pass activations are still limited to 8. But you know, the race is twice as long, and especially the quick guys starting from the back, they will have to decide: do I push immediately and use my push to passes early to get the moves done, or do I try to get the moves on the track by myself, you know, without using the push to pass, and keep those push to pass activations for later, those DRS activations for later. We'll see. I think it's going to be an interesting race, and it's actually Beard on pole position, so it was a 19-car reverse in the end.
Yeah, Josh Thompson on the front row. He will be possibly the favourite for this one, but did make a couple of mistakes in race 1. Also got Spolstra, Ringrose, McNally and Roccatello rounding out the top 6. We just got Richard Gavenko actually to get onto the grid, the Excite Racing driver. He is now on the grid. And we are set for round 4 of the season, race 2 of the afternoon. And away we go here at Nurburgring. Ashley Beard with a good start, and Thompson actually has got a very poor start. There goes Spolstra. What an awesome launch that was for the driver. But we're going to have 3 wide into turn 1. Could there be issues? Thompson on the inside, and he's going to take the lead. Surely, no, maybe side by side, but Thompson has just about got it. Beard in second position. It looked like Spolstra had the lead, but he's just about dropped back. Mott already up 3 places, and Adam Nally has a spin himself, and Ringrose right to the rear as well.
We have some problems all over the field. I see drivers flashing in red. As you see, many drivers have been involved in something that, you know, we don't want to see at the beginning of the race. I heard some crashing. It's been Ringrose, for example, Roccatello and Jerome Hag, I think, also involved in some trouble. Calestani as well. Let's get a replay of that, I think, very quickly. This is Jerome Hag, so let's see from his point of view what happened.
Heading into turn 1 as he misses breaking point. No, he's okay at this point. And is there a little bit of contact further out here? Oh yeah, it maybe just came across.
Oh, look at Calestani.
Calestani as well. Yeah, almost got flipped.
Wow. So big trouble, and this means that we have possible battle between Thompson and Spolstra for the race win, with Beard in third, and all these other guys, they are in big trouble, because they are way back in the pack, especially Calestani and Hag are behind them. Van Loosenord is already up to P8.
Yeah, what an awesome start, up 11 positions just in lap 1 for Martin Van Loosenord, and we knew we couldn't count him out. Well, he's looking very possible, like a race victory is possible for him today. Well, PORSCHE still having to defend, actually, from Ashley Beard. Beard really putting up a good fight, but I think if anything, he's going to be falling into Anthony Motts now, as Partington just gets past Wilson. So Partington also looking strong. He's up 10 places so far.
Here comes Van Loosenhoorn behind Wilson on the inside, not wasting any time, and he gets up to P7, and now we will look to get the move done on Partington as well. A quick check on Calestani, still racing, and he went by Hag, who seems to be very, very damaged. And I think it was either McNally, or I think it was McNally, the guy that hit Hag. I think, judging by the nose of his car, which is painted blue, while his teammate has orange markings there. Partington, Kroos. Fantastic battle now for P6. Sorry, P5.
Yeah, no, this
sorry.
is P6, yeah.
You're right, it's Van Loosenhoorn.
Crows.
Yeah.
And Partington. Seems like a great opportunity that just after the center S, because the top drivers can carry so much more speed there, as Crows gets past Motts and really losing a lot of time. And you know what, this is going to be a four-way battle. Just in one corner there, they've lost about a second. You can see Partington all of a sudden onto the back of Motts, and let's see what Van Loosenhoorn can do here. We'll stick on board with him for now, because, well, this could be an opportunity for a double pass potentially, but you can see they've all got the slipstream, and so not much of an advantage for Van Loosenhoorn, as down the inside goes Partington. Van Loosenhoorn will try to follow through here, not leaving too much room there was Anthony Mott, but now round the outside he goes. Van Loosenhoorn will try to get the cut back. He's going to be pushed out there, picking up a 1x and nearly losing the car, and nearly turning it into an overtake, and nearly losing the car again. Absolutely incredible for Martin Van Loosenhoorn as he goes wide, and I think he's just lost a position there, has he? Yes, he has. Jamie Wilson. Where has he come from? From absolutely nowhere. And Martin Van Loosenhoorn, well, that's probably the most trouble he's faced all season.
Yes, and we also have to remember, only 17 incident points available for these guys. Oh, those curves.
Oh, Daly's right on his tail as well. This is awful for Martin Van Loosenhoorn. No damage on that car. He didn't make any contact, but all of a sudden, falling down the field.
Yes, absolutely, and he has to be careful because, like I said, 17 incident points, the same as in race 1, but just like the DRS activations, it's over double the distance, so you have to be very careful. And for the first time in 4 races, he is actually dropping backwards instead of going forwards.
Yeah, he's got to make a few of those positions back up. He's back down into 8th place after fighting for 4th position at one point. Here comes Michael Partington while he's looking like a potential race victor right now, because he's just got past a bit of contact there, and that's not going to help Crow's front wing too much. Still, Thompson and PORSCHE leading the way. They're in the mid-40s currently. Track temperature at 37, so that's pretty much what it's been for the entire day. As Van Loosenhoorn, he's having to make up some positions once again. First up, Jamie Wilson. We're going to go 3 wide here, both of them using the DRS. Wilson always makes contact. Van Loosenhoorn is going to exit the corner ahead of the other 2, as actually Wilson gets a poor exit. He's going to lose that position back to Anthony Motts. And, well, superb driving we've seen in these opening stages of race 2 as Mott tries to go around the outside. Wilson, though, will make it stick eventually.
Wow, some fantastic stuff. Van Loosenhoorn now back to P6. In front of him is his teammate Danny Kroos. And Danny Kroos didn't put too much of a fight up with Partington. Smart choice, I'd say, because Danny Kroos needs a clean race if he wants to get back and score some valuable points, which he did. He did in the second race of the first round. But he needs more than that, of course. And look at that, Daly, Chin, Mott. We haven't talked about Josh Chin. Seems like his car is okay. Seems like he's been able to keep it clean in the first lap. And also another guy that we have to look for a possible comeback.
Yeah, he came back really well in race 1, remember? So he's got some tenacity about him, seemingly, as Chin. And, well, he's now just behind his Team CAMARO teammate, actually, Jamie Wilson. So that'll be an interesting battle. Calistani making his way back through the field as well. There's not a pit stop in this one, is there, Marco?
No, straight sprint to the finish. Look at the crowd behind Ashley Beard for P3.
Yeah, he's clearly a little bit slower than these guys. Partington's been making light work of these drivers so far, like a hot knife through butter. Wait, is that the right way round? Or is it hot butter?
No, hot knife through butter.
Okay, cool. as Parkinson. Well, whatever the analogy is, he is it. And he's up into the podium place. He's only 6 seconds off the lead. We could see a fantastic fight now for Michael Parkinson.
In Italy we say like a knife through the fog.
Oh, okay.
Which is
I feel
even...
like anything through fog is quite,
yeah.
you know, not resistant. So
yeah, exactly.
even like a lorry through the fog is not going to be held up too much.
So Partington was able to get by Ashley Beard, and now it's up to the two Dutch teammates, Danny Kroos, Martin van Loosenhoorn, to try and make the move and maybe join their teammates Spoelstra in the battle for the podium. I have to say also, we see some very, very nice liveries in this series, and I think that this car is beautiful because it reminds me of the the Formula cars of the mid 2000s, And oh, Joshua Chin has got a problem. Oh, more than one problem because he's in the gravel. Let's see if he's got some damage. He's dropping and dropping and dropping, Sam.
Well, we were saying how he could get a decent result out of this one, Josh Chin. But anything but now, and well, I think he made a mistake here in the last race. He was catching up to his teammate, and he's lost it quite early on there, and into the wall he goes, and well, that could be game over for him.
Yes, and he's into the pits for repairs, so significant hit for him, as Ashley Beard has been able to defend. Oh, look at that. Jerome Hag, we haven't talked a lot about him because, he had a problem in the beginning. Coming back by Knoll and up to P13. Back with Van Loosenhoorn because he's about to make the move. Also he went by Danny Kroos. Apologies, I missed that.
This is really teeing up to be a fascinating 30 minutes of racing, because here comes Van Loosenhoorn. He's surely going to make this one. P4 Beard has resisted valiantly, I must say, and he's looking like he could pick up some healthy points from this race. But now Van Loosenhoorn is into 4th place. He is 8.5 seconds off the race lead. He's 2.5 seconds off Partington. And Spoelstra's not bad either. We shouldn't have to clarify that one. So we've got 4 quick drivers at the moment. And all round goes Loosenhoorn. I thought he may be able to win this race. Well, this is going to be a long, long way back for him now, because for the second time in this race, he's had a big setback.
Yes, and he's dropped to P8, so...
Again.
Wow, an uncharacteristic mistake. A very, very tough race for him. Let's get on board the replay with him. I think he went too hard on the curb.
No, it was just a tap behind, I think.
Also a tap, yes, absolutely. You are absolutely right. He's going on, so it feels like the car is okay. As Danny Kroos just went by Ashley Beard and moving up to P4. Next in line for poor Ashley, who's defending as best as he can, is Wilson, and he's very, very close as well, trying to get to the top 5 with his white and aqua colored Team Chimera car.
Here he goes, past Ashley Beard. And, well, that one's quite simple. Could be in for a decent result here, Jamie Wilson, because Kroos is not too fast up ahead. He was 0.8 faster than Kroos on that last lap. Also, just a check-in on the top 3 parts until that last one was half a second faster than Josh Thompson. He is now 6 seconds behind, so he's failed to really close that gap too much so far. But going to be a tense final half an hour, because, yeah, still very close amongst those 3. We can still not count out Martin Van Loosenhoorn, despite the fact that he's currently battling for 7th position as he goes down the inside. He's, well, yeah, he's already had 2 big issues in this race. First issues of the season. But yeah, we cannot count him out whatsoever. Next up for him is Ashley Beard, who he'll have to overtake for, I think, the 3rd time.
Yes, and he's still, with all this, he's 12 positions up from his starting place. So think about all the overtakes he has done so far. And still down to P7. Moving or trying to move to P6 now, as he's in the draft of Ashley Bird, and now on his inside.
Simple for Van Loosenord. Next up will be Wilson, 1.4 seconds ahead. He's 12.5 seconds off the lead. In race 1, he seemed to have about a second a lap on everyone, so it's really possible he could come back here. But he's going to have some good overtakes, because Partington and Thompson in particular have really shown good pace so far and a good racecraft. I don't know if we could just go back to lap 1, because we've had a little bit of a calm spot now. Because just see that race start, because it was really interesting. Thompson didn't get away from the line particularly well. Meanwhile, it was PORSCHE just absolutely lightning away. Got alongside, and I think kind of 2009 F1-esque, the driver on the outside kind of just got hung out to dry though.
Yes, here we go with the replay. And look behind, because you're going to see Calestani fly through the air in a second.
Oh, he just got tapped from behind.
Joseph Ringros went around, creating some more chaos in that part of the track. Alessandro Roccatello went around, so all happening at the start of the race.
Also,
and
could we just go to Richard Gafenko as well in that lap 1, because he's got a penalty. He got this penalty a while back, to be fair, but this was for lap 1, turn 2, avoidable contact. So I think he may have been one. He got an awful start, really quite hesitated at the line. Seemingly took it quite carefully into turn 1, but I think this changes into 2.
Oh,
and yeah,
so
just a bit clumsy. A bit of netcode as well there.
He's the guy that it, so it wasn't McNally, apologies to Adam. It was his teammate Gafenko that hit Ag in the first corner. And also, while we were watching the replay, I think that Danny Kroos had a problem, because he's down to P11.
Oh, Calestani just having a little bit of a spin as well. Really close between those two, but I think Calestani just about hold on. And that's what you were talking about earlier on, Mark, eh? Getting on the curbs can be absolutely lethal in this car.
Yes, especially if you're a bad driver like me. I'm expecting
well,
better from these guys. Yeah, look at that, as we have Kroos on the inside of Calestani, not able to make the move. Also in the front of the pack, Van Loosenord and Wilson are, I think, battling against each other for P4. We'll move to that battle as soon as we get a resolution in this one. Oh, Danny Kroos on the inside. Oh, bad.
Oh, good save. That was too ambitious, though, into that one, as Wilson, well, gets up the position against Van Loosenord. He's an experienced driver, is Jamie, a decent endurance driver as well, so he's not going to risk having a collision with a driver who's far faster than him.
So the gaps on your screen right now, you can see that Thompson's got 3.3 over Spoelstra, who's got 2.7 over Partington, who's got 7.8 from Calestani. Sorry, from Van Loosenord. 0.5 of a second over Jamie Wilson.
Has Van Loosenord got, like, the back of his car, like, missing? Because you can seem to see all the internals of the car. I don't think that's the fact with all the other cars. I don't know if you've got that as well, Mark, but you can see all the engine gubbins just ahead of the rear wing.
You are absolutely right, and doesn't seem like other cars have that kind of problem, you know? Because I'm seeing that Wilson's car seems to be fine.
I really want that to be his livery. If that's his livery, then we will give him 100 points just right there. But I don't think that
well,
is.
It's not. As you can see from Eric Spoelstra, it's supposed to be all orange in the back of the car there. And also, let's see from Danny Kroos. Yes, it's supposed to be all orange, and his car is not orange there. It's, you know, engine color. So I don't know how is that possible. Maybe he was hit by a sniper rifle, I don't know, but he's missing his rear wing is okay, but he's missing a part of his engine cover. I don't know how that is possible.
Odd place to get hit. because we haven't even seen him make much contact with anyone, but there you go. Very odd. Well, if that's the new damage model, then, well, I'm very impressed, certainly. But it's not holding him back too much. Saving a little bit of weight like that is not going to hurt him, because
Nice catch, by the
he's
way.
40 seconds off the lead.
Nice catch, because I absolutely didn't notice it.
I've noticed for a while, to be honest, but I was hesitant to say. I thought, am I being an idiot? Oh, a little bit of a spin. I think we
Ashley
both
Beard.
had that
It's actually, oh, it's not a spin.
Oh, dear. That's it.
It's a flip. That was Beard. He had Ringrose behind him. Was there any kind of contact? No. Oh, that was
so unlucky.
Unlucky Ashley Beard. Poor sitter for this race. But he has to tow back to the pits. Game over for him.
He's still sitting in the car seemingly, so maybe hoping that he'll be able to continue this on, but he's going to be way behind even if he does, because he's got quite a few damage to the pair anyway. It's all calming down a little bit, particularly out in front. But do not fear, this is going to get interesting. Even if it's not in the next 10 minutes, even if it's not in the next 15 minutes, by the end of this race we are going to have a fight for the lead, at least I think. But right now, Partington, who we kind of assumed would be able to catch up to the top two, he's still 6 seconds behind. He's only maintaining that one. And Van Loozenord is struggling to make up much time. We'll keep an eye out on the times, of course. Thompson on that last up, 40.54. Spolstra a 40.5. And Partington a 40.3. Van Loozenord a 40.2. So small differences, but they need a little bit more advantage than that. They're going to catch by the end of the race.
Exactly. Like we said, it's not. There's not a lot of tire wear with this car, especially now. It just came out. Maybe it will change in later builds. But since this first season is entirely contained within iRacing Season 1, I'm not expecting big changes throughout the championship that we are going to have. Shout out to Thomas Knoll, one of the privateers who's running a basic but effective classic Renault livery with yellow and black colors, and I absolutely like this one. Not very original, but very effective, I think.
Yeah, there's been some really good livery shared on trading paints. The couple of the Red Bull camouflage liveries. Chin, well,
and
he's
Rose.
certainly out the race now, has already had issues.
Chin and Rose had a problem. Let's see the replay. Chin was behind, Rose was in front. It was a coming together on the straight, and I don't think that the stewards will like it very much. Let's get...
Well, I think was a little bit deliberate from Rose, that second one. First one, I think Chin's going to have to take responsibility for that one, because wasn't a whole... I don't think Rose really... He did move a little bit, but I don't think he moved kind of in the way that would cause the contact. If anything, it almost prevented the contact from Chin. Chin went into the back of it, and then Rose did not help matters by trying to get the scores even.
Anthony Mott defending from Joseph Ringrose. His connection a matter of big discussions between race 1 and race 2. I don't want to jinx him, but seems to be a bit better in this second race. Okay.
Oh, that is fantastic.
Okay, so let's go back to the leader then, Josh Thompson, because we haven't shown a lot of him, and he's having a very nice race, and his last lap time was just a bit quicker than Spolstra. So these two are running on the same times, more or less, 40.6 for both of them. Partington is a bit quicker, like you said, and Van Loozenord is a bit slower. So we'll have to see, because the gap, as you can see right now, between first and third is about 5 seconds. So let's see if Partington is able to go and catch the top two. It's going to be close because we've got less than half of the race left.
Yeah, it seems as though I think Van Loozenord surely is out of this one now. unless the top 3 really have a issue, because he's just not catching fast enough currently. He's still about 14 seconds off the race lead. This one getting interesting though. Daly once again finding himself up the field in 6th, and then he's now 6 seconds ahead of this battle. Mott versus Ringrose. Ringrose really impressed in race 1, but got caught up in an instant in lap 1 of this race. Otherwise, he would be right up there. He'd probably be fighting with Wilson and Daly right now. Instead, he's fighting Mott for 7th and 8th. Kalistani coming up fast behind them. So too is Kroos, and Haag as well. He's only 9 seconds behind these guys. He's very quick on that last lap. Haag was, in fact, only slightly faster than those guys. I expect him to be able to catch them by the end of the race.
These are the last laps for all the drivers on the left side of your screen, so you can see who's... Oh, Danny Kroos in the grass once again. So, you know, he's... Van Loosenhoord in the wall. In the wall, he's back on the track. Does he have damage? Let's see from his onboard if he's able to keep the car straight, because I saw him hit the wall at a decently high speed.
He looks okay to me, at least. His steering angle is okay. But, well, that's his 3rd misdemeanor of the day, or of the race, of the season. 3 out of 3 so far for Martin Van Loosenhoord. It's going to be anything but that in this one, and that's actually quite a big hit. But from what I can see, at least, Marco, barely any dents on that front wing, so he might be okay.
Let's see, I think he will stay out. Even though service on this car is very, very quick, so you can get in and get out in a reasonably fast time. Still, you're going to lose a lot of time because other guys are not pitting. So he was struggling to keep up the pace with the top 3, and maybe was pushing a bit too hard, you know, but those curbs are really catching many drivers a bit unaware, and this is what happens because he's off once again. So as Ringrose and Mott are battling, and Mott is finally able to get the move done. Kalistani
I think Mott was defending.
Oh, sorry, you are right. He's defending, absolutely. And Kalistani is waiting in the wings as Danny Kroos, a disaster for Learn to Race, because Kroos has enough. He goes to the pits. Let's see what happened. Another spin. He had a spin in the previous lap. Then his teammate Van Loosenhoord crashed, and then he spun once again. And he said, okay, that is enough. Too many mistakes. And he went back to the pits.
This meeting has just shown how difficult this car is, because there's probably a select few drivers out there who haven't made big mistakes. I think Joe Ringrose might be pretty much the only one. I think Matteo Kalistani hasn't made a big mistake either, to be fair to him. But apart from that, absolutely carnage out there. And some really good drives. You know, Kroos, clearly, quick driver, needs to sort out his consistency, as we might have contact just ahead. Wow, Ringrose almost went into the back of Mott, and all of a sudden Kalistani's going to be right on the tail of these two. Now, going on to what will be lap 16, and he's a little bit wide there to Ringrose, and you know why, he might be under pressure from Kalistani going into turn 1, but here comes Ringrose. Got a really nice slipstream. Don't think he's using the DRS, but he comes with a great acceleration. Down the inside goes Joseph Ringrose, and Kalistani is going to try to follow through as well. The Excite Racing driver of Anthony Mott just about defending, though this one isn't over yet. Kalistani going a little bit offline, and the two ahead of him just going a little bit wide once again. Ringrose running a little bit of an awkward line. He's not making this one easy for himself, but it seems as though the middle part of the set is going to be Ringrose in 7th, Mott in 8th, Kalistani in 9th.
So in the previous lap, Josh Thompson had a 39.98, fastest lap of the race. The only driver to be under the 1 minute 40. Next lap, Spoelstra went faster than him, just by a couple of tenths of a second, not much. So the battle there is still on. As you can see, the gap is 3.7 seconds, so it's not massive. And also Partington is trying to come back at these guys. He was half a second faster than Spoelstra in the previous lap.
Yeah, Partington, how far off the lead is he now? It's about 5.5 seconds, isn't it? So when he got into that third place, it was about 6.5 seconds. So he's closing a little bit as Kalistani down the inside. Well, he pulled off a double overtake there in race 1. Hasn't been able to pull off that one.
Oh, Anthony Mott.
Oh, Mott. Oh, dear. Well, in the end, Kalistani didn't have to do too much there. Mott, after driving a pretty much error-free race, down into 10th.
No, Errod putting Kalistani under pressure. And he's able to make the move, even though now Kalistani will have the inside, but it's not enough. Great pass. I think Kalistani was a bit, he made that mistake, and then he had basically, I think, just for a split second, maybe you are watching the car spinning, you lose concentration.
Well, when we were riding on board with him a couple of laps ago, he just seemed to be a little bit all over the place to Kalistani, just not quite hitting the apexes as he usually does so efficiently, as Van Loosenhoorn just gets past Daly for the 4th time. Yeah, I think that's genuinely the 4th time Van Loosenhoorn has now passed Daly. Hopefully this time will be the last time. They made contact, I think, earlier on, actually. But so far, no penalties apart from the one for Richard Gafenki, who is still racing out there. He's in 15th place, has recovered pretty well after a crash in the second corner of the race. Now, is he going to come back here? Well, this is not what Van Loosenhoorn needs, because straight back past goes Byron Daly. A little bit deep on the brakes, and now back down the inside is going to be Van Loosenhoorn. But no, Daly hangs on for now, and well, I think Van Loosenhoorn might use the DRS down this next straight.
Even though I think he's damaged, but yes, he will go for it. 11 minutes left in this second race of the day. A little bit of a mistake there from Daly, but he's able to stay in front of the Netherlands driver. Well, like I said, I'm sure he's got some damage as Kalistani gets the position back on Pete Arrod in the first corner.
Coming back though, round the outside, and this one can work. He tries to get the cut back, but it wasn't really there for Pete. Maybe a little bit late to commit to that one, just didn't quite get the apex as he wanted. And Kalistani up into 8th. He's had quite a turbulent day of it. He has found himself in a decent position, seemingly after a good race 1, getting a podium. We'll just say thanks for everyone who's tuned in. We've been able to get about 40 plus viewers watching at any one time, so really do appreciate it. Hopefully you've been enjoying this race. We certainly have, and if you haven't already, leave a like on the video, and also maybe subscribe to the channel as well. As Byron Daly having to, well, okay, is this 5th time for Van Loosenhoorn having to get past Daly? This is, I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. Oh, and he spun it! Where is Ringrose? He's 6 seconds behind. He's not 6 seconds behind anymore, and Kalistani might even go through as well.
And he has to be very, very tight on his incident limit, Van Loosenhoorn, because that's, I think, the 4th spin he had. And, each one of them gives you 2x's, plus, some, off tracks that you can get here and there. Look at that, Partington and Spoelstra now I think are in the same shot, whilst Thompson is a little bit forward, but not by much, as they are getting by one of the lap cars. It should be Max Berta, as Ringrose is out for a little bit of rallycross, and Van Loosenhoorn gets the position back.
Well, I was saying earlier on how Ringrose hasn't really made a mistake. He has now. And apparently Van Loosenhoorn is on 12 incidents so far, so he can afford 5 more. Just been told that by race control. Joseph Ringrose, yeah, having the mistake. He's back down into 7th place, which means Van Loosenhoorn, despite 4 spins, I'm not quite sure, it's 3 or 4 spins, still in 6th place. That's quite how fast he is, and of course he's got a little bit of damage, as well as Partington. Yeah, sorry, just go taking the back marker. Apologies. There is Spoelstra, only 1.1 seconds ahead now. Good lap this for Michael Partington. Yeah, and that last lap he was, that was almost his fastest lap of the race. So seemingly, the tyre wear not affecting him too much, Partington. As we've already explained, the tyre wear in this race is not too bad, this car isn't too bad. And yeah, 1.1 seconds now between second and third. We've got 18 seconds back to Jamie Wilson. So certainly not going to be about sort of for fourth. But yeah, Partington can keep this one up and maybe overtake Spolstra quickly. He might have a shot at Thompson, at least put some pressure on him, but I think he'll probably take the second place as it stands right now.
We have this brand new feature of the overlay, which guys you are watching right now, comparing the last lap times of two drivers, Spolstra and Partington, and as you can see, Spolstra lost 2/10 in lap 16, 2/10 and 2 in lap 17, then an equal lap 18, and then in lap 19 Partington shaved half a second off his rival, and as you can see right now, I think, yes, the battle box is up, so that means that the gap is getting closer and closer, and we can have a very, very tasty battle for P2 in this final 7 minutes of the race.
Spolstra just extending that lead a little bit down that straight. I don't think he used the DRS, but yeah, quite just extending it by about a tenth. Maybe that's just the downforce packages that these two are running. You can go different ways here at Nurburgring, of course. But certainly, on the balance of it, seems like Partington's got the advantage as they cross the line. Partington now with his fastest lap of the race. Spolstra with his fastest lap of the race. So they're really bringing out the big guns now. And also Thompson only 2/10 off his fastest lap. So these guys are just going faster and faster right now. And so this is not going to be easy for Partington to make the move by the end of this race.
On board with Partington, you can see bottom right of your screen the gear selected and the speed. So we can get an idea of how fast this car is. Of course, we have a V8 3.5 liters naturally aspirated engine. It produces around 530 brake horsepower, and the drivers seem to really like the fact that with this car you can get apex speed higher than the MP430 due to the big downforce that you have. It's a car that has been absolutely well received by the community, and a very, very tough car to drive in any case, I think. But these are guys that enjoy the challenge, they want to go fast, they don't want to think about you know, the engine recovery system, detection zones, you know, the energy harvesting. They just want to go fast, and I think this car was a much needed breath of fresh air for iRacing open wheeler, for the iRacing open wheeler scene.
On this lap, Josh Thompson has lost quite a bit of time. His first poor lap of the race, seemingly. He has been in the low 40s, just under 40.74, but you know what? It's just the pace of the other two, which is overwhelming him right now. Porsche 40.23 and Partington 40.01. And all of a sudden, you can see, is that Thompson just ahead or is that a back marker?
That's a back marker. Because
that is a back marker.
It's Richard
But they
Gaffenko.
are now... It's closer than it's been for pretty much this entire way. You know what? Thompson may have just lost a bit of time behind Gaffenko, potentially. As Gaffenko tries to get out of the way. That doesn't help Spolstra too much. And Partington doesn't really lose any time, I think. Although he's going to have to take a slightly tighter line. Pretty much no traffic for these guys to deal with to the end of the race, I believe. But the gap back up to 4.8 seconds now between first and third. Of course, like I said, when Partington got up into that third place, it was 6.5, so he's possibly been the fastest driver in this race. But after that lowly starting position, because he drove so well in race 1, of course, it's left him with plenty to do.
And I think it's an interesting thing to have, and also important, because starting from the front and winning the race is one thing, but starting from the mid-pack, even though you're very, very fast and making all the moves and, carefully planning your overtakes is another thing. And if you want to win this championship, you have to be good at both. So, absolutely big thumbs up for the reverse grid.
Of course, the perfect demonstration of that is Martin van Loosenhorst. Of course, won race 1 from pole position, but in race 2, got up into 8th place on the opening lap. has not been plain sailing since then. He's actually under big pressure from Joseph Ringrose, and actually has just been overtaken by Joseph Ringrose. The driver who was 3 out of 3 going into this race. Oh, as Partington deep on the brakes, making up some handy time there, down to half a second between the top two. They're long way behind Thompson, and Thompson shouldn't make a mistake from now to the end of the race. But Partington, well, he smells blood, and he's got 2.5 minutes to get the job done.
You see, not very easy to follow to the corners, but not impossible either. And then with the draft, of course, you can get very, very close. I think Partington has the overtake in him. He has that extra bit of speed needed to make the pass, but he has to be closer than this. And I don't know how many uses of the DRS he has left. iRacing should provide us with this information sometime, because it's very important for us commentating and getting an idea of the strategies. I think in the IndyCar series, in real life, when they had a timed push to pass, like they had 100 seconds of push to pass, they didn't tell the broadcasters how much they did have left, so it was always a bit confusing watching the races, because they didn't know if and how much push to pass they had left.
Yeah, we kind of need all the help we can get up here in the commentary booth. Of course, changing of or animated pictures can be very helpful. I think we are on the last lap. Josh Thompson crossed the line with 1 minute and 30 to go. A lap time out here is 1 minute 40. So it could be close here, but I think this is going to be the last one. iRacing don't usually like to make it too close. Maybe have about a 5-second leeway, but it was 10 seconds that we should miss out by. And so Michael Partington is running out of corners to get the job done, and this will still be a really good day for him. 4th in race 1 will be a podium in race 2, it looks like, unless he has a catastrophic failure here. Also got Van Loosenholt and Ringrose just got to go back to. Trying to recover as many points. The championship leader, he's still going to be the championship leader after this race. But by how many? As Calistani comes from a long way back. But he's not quite there on the brakes, was a little bit ambitious. And Ringrose and Van Loosenholt and Calistani playing on a great show at the end of this one.
Back to the front for a second as we see the battle for P2 winding down as Josh Thompson gets ready to win his first race of the season. Let's see if there's a last dash effort from Partington. I don't think so. And so let's go to Josh Thompson then, into the final corner.
Here we go. Yep, one more corner to go. This is going to be the checker flag. Josh Thompson hasn't had the best of it so far this season, but he's absolutely made it count. A superb drive from the front, took the lead in turn 1, and he's won here, race 2 at Nurburgring. Still got this one going on. Ringrose having to defend. Of course, PORSCHE did beat Partington to 2nd place. How many more DRSs do these drivers have? Surely they've used them all up already, as Ringrose just about fending him off. He got past Van Loosenholt a couple of laps ago. He's trying to respond now. Calistani doesn't seem to have anything more in the offering either. He does like going for the dive in this one, Calistani, but it's Van Loosenholt this time. Super deep on the brakes. He's going to be close to the VRT e-racing driver. But one more corner to go. It looks as though Ringrose is going to actually claim a very impressive 6th place here. Just on the line. Is Van Loosenholt going to get it? No, it was just about Ringrose by 1/100th of a second, as Thomas Knoll has an issue right at the end, and he's going to lose out to Locatelli in these closing stages. Well, that race 2, Marco, kind of lived up to race 1, I think. Another great show. I think that lead battle, in the end, we didn't have the wheel-to-wheel battle, but the fact that Thompson had to keep his concentration for 40 minutes, that was 40 minutes of hot lapping there, and he did it superbly.
Yes, absolutely great stuff once again. It's good that we have also a new race winner. A very, very tough second race for our championship leader, and I think he will have to have some reflection, especially, you know, he had too many mistakes, and that was common amongst basically also both of his teammates. Even though, I mean, we had a very, very good race from PORSCHE, but Kroos had once again a race full of problems, like race 1, like in the first round. So whilst I still think that Learn to Race are the quicker team as a unit, we've seen Ag and we've seen Thompson. They have the pace. Also, I'm expecting more from Calestani. It's gonna be a fantastic season, and this I think was another very, very good race. And the results should be on your screen right now.
Yes, and it's Josh Thompson taking away the race victory. Well done to him. PORSCHE finishes in second, pushed him, and well, that's his third second place of the season actually. PORSCHE, not quite the bride yet, but will very soon be in this series. I'm sure half a second ahead of Michael Buxton. Great drive from 16th on the grid. Jamie Wilson, just really efficient, picks up one incident across that entire race. Finishes in fourth. Well done to him. Byron Daly, really well. The two fantastic results for him. I think he got a 7th and a 5th from 13th on the grid as well. Well done. Joseph Vingres had one spin, finished in 6th. I don't think that cost him. Had a fantastic battle against Martin van Liesenold, championship leader still, but by a reduced margin now in 7th. Matteo Calestani had issues at the start. He finished in 8th. He had 9th. There's Anthony Motz finished in 10th. There's Jerome Haag, Alessandro Roccatelli, Thomas Knoll, David Cudmore, Richard Gafenke was one lap down along with Massimo Berta and Adam McNally. And then the retirees were Danny Craze, Josh Chin, Billy Rose and Ashley Beard, rounding up the 21 drivers there. Of course, Pierce starting on pole position, but was very unlucky with a flip late on. As we've got a couple of interviews, we'll have a chat with Josh Thompson. And Josh, well done out there. Really good second race victory. It was, you didn't have a wheel-to-wheel battle necessarily, apart from that first corner, but you had to keep your concentration up for those entire 40 minutes. It was pretty much hot lapping for 40 minutes because the guys behind you were very quick themselves.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of speechless on how we managed to win that race. Yeah, like you said, it was hot lapping every lap, just constantly. It was such a demanding race. I looked down at the time and it was like, there's still 20 minutes to go. I was like, I can't do this the entire race. But now I just had to keep pushing. I knew that Boris and Martin are so much faster than us. They probably won't like to admit that, but me and Mike will happily say they are the fastest team on the grid. So I was kind of happy to see the gap just slowly pulling away. But if I made one mistake, the gap would come back down straight away. So overall, to get the win, to knock that thrown off them of the 3 wins, I can't really complain.
Yeah, that was really impressive. And ultimately, the key may have been into turn 1 because it was 3 wide. PORSCHE got an awesome start. It looks as though, to us at least, he would be the leader coming out of turn 1, and how the race could have been different if he hadn't have had the guts to put it down the inside into turn 1.
I knew it had to be winning turn 1. They know how, a lot of people know how to do this launch control in this car. I haven't got a clue because I've not put the time in. So I'm just doing the old classic dual clutch F1 thing, and it just doesn't work. So I knew I had to be brave on the brakes. I knew our car was very good into turn 1 on the brakes from the short test I did with Mike this morning, before the race. Just threw it down the inside and just held it as tight as I could, but I knew I had to wash out to kind of cover that. Lucky enough, got it perfect, managed to get across, and yeah, Ash then was in between, which then gave me that little breakaway.
Yeah, and looking forward to the rest of the season. I'm hoping to be able to attend all the races, and well, you're certainly going to be one of the favourites for the championship after today.
Yeah, it's hard because obviously I've committed myself to doing GT Pro qualifiers now with Mavana. That's my main goal. So literally, the first laps I'd done back in this car were an hour before the race today, and it was really weird to get back into it. So hopefully I should be thereabouts. Like I said, if I could pull off like a decent race 1 and then a reverse grid, I could see myself having a chance.
Yeah, definitely. We've got to put yourself in the mix, certainly. And before you let you go, Josh, anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, so first off, I'd like to thank Kevin for hosting this great league. I'm happy it's turned out this well. The stewards today, so Michaela and David did an awesome job on that. You guys for the broadcasting, Mike Partington for being awesome, helping out. Obviously, we've got a lot of work to do, but we're getting there. And everyone at First Master Nirvana just for the support.
Thanks, Josh. And we'll see you on Thursday then?
Yeah, probably.
Cool.
Tuesday MX5, Thursday, yeah. Yeah, thank you, guys.
See ya. Next up, I think we'll have a chat with our other race winner, Martin van Leuzenord. And Martin, race 1 was absolutely superb. You put in a great qualifying lap. And it looked pretty easy in that race 1 to take the race victory. You had superb pace today.
Hello. Yes, race 1 was good. Second race was not good. I went through the pack quite quick. I think in lap 2 I was around 8th. And then somewhere I lost the car, I think, or I had some damage from whatever. Then I spun another 4 times, and my car didn't go above 240 kph on a straight line, and I had to fight with the car on top of the Schumacher S. It felt like the car had DRS open all the time, so it was not fun to drive in the second race.
You were missing the engine cover. I don't know what happened, but basically was that from halfway through, Sam, that he was without the engine cover?
I think it was quite early on, actually. Maybe when you got hit
right.
up the rear. Quite early on, I think, where you may have lost that. It didn't seem to help you too much. Because, yeah, you were struggling a little bit out there. But you had some nice battles, to be fair. And it's difficult to make those moves against this quality of drivers because they're all quick drivers in this series. And, well, yeah, it was difficult to come back from 19th on the grid, obviously.
Yeah, definitely. There were a lot of quick drivers, and congrats to Josh Thompson as well. Mike Partington was doing all right also in the first and second race, even though his car looked quite messed up when I passed him on the out lap, so or the in lap it was. So yeah, congrats to them as well. Also congrats to Boris, he did a good job as well. But yeah, I I think when I didn't even notice that my engine cover went off, so that was probably the reason why I thought, why the hell did I cannot get closer? Why is that?
Well, of course, next up we've got Road America for round 3 of the season. Is that one that you like?
I like Road America, yes. Maybe that's one of the first tracks that we're going lower on downforce, but you never know. We'll see.
Well, it's been great to have you along today, Martin. And before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the team, the guys who put in time in the setup, and yeah, to the sponsors as well.
Thanks, Martin, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
We've also got an interview. Do you want to take this one, Marco?
Oh, you can take it.
Okay, cool. We've got Mike Partington, who I think scored the most points of anyone today. Mike, you must be delighted with that. In the end, a third and a fourth. Possibly could have been a little bit more in both races, but you got to be pretty pleased with that in the end.
Yeah, it was some good racing. I really enjoyed it, especially the second race, coming through the pack, and everyone was quite clean. So it was good fun.
Yeah, definitely. And that second race with Thompson and Spolstra just ahead of you, that must have been difficult because, certainly from our perspective, it was really intense. It was, a 10th here, a 10th there. You did manage to gain a little bit on those two, but it just wasn't quite enough in the end. You got close to Boris. Was there any moments where you thought that maybe you had an opportunity to get that second place?
Yeah, there was one option. It was like 1 or 2 laps before the end. I think he didn't activate his DRS, and I thought I should go for this, and I just held back to the last. Thought I'd go for the last lap. But I made quite a lot of mistakes early on in the race, and just misshifting here and there and going wide. I lost like 4 or 5, 6 temps on a couple of laps, and in the end, I couldn't catch up, and there wasn't enough time.
Yeah, and how was the overtaking out there today? We've seen this car a lot easier to overtake than in the MP4-30, but the slipstream effect pretty strong with Herd, and of course Silverstone and Nurburgring aren't easy tracks to overtake, and yet we saw a lot of action.
Silverstone was definitely easier to overtake on. At Nurburgring, I think we were down on top speed, so when I got up to like Boris, I mean, we just couldn't get close in the end. And some of the guys had lower downforce than us, and I think 5-6 kph top speed. I think something we may need to figure out for another race.
Yeah, of course, top speed is going to be important next up at Road America. Bit different to Silverstone Nurburgring. Are we going to see kind of the slipstream chains potentially around that circuit, or is it kind of going to be more of the same with, you know, drivers being able to kind of pull away from one another?
Oh, it would definitely be slipstream and lots of long straights.
Well, we certainly look forward to that one. And before we let you go, Mike, any shout-outs you'd like to give?
No. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. And I think finally we're going to have Joe Ringrose as well. And Joe, overall today, really impressive. That race one, you were super unlucky in the end, but race 2, despite a spin, still a very good 6th place.
Yeah, very happy with race 2. I mean, I think pace was definitely here, and as I said, I wanted to kind of prove myself here because I knew the pace would definitely be better at Nurburgring than compared to Silverstone. And yeah, as you said, nothing really I could do in race 1. Got quite unlucky, and shame got a DNF.
Yeah, definitely, because yeah, Thompson just spun in front of you. But you see, you did make that one mistake in race 2. But I was saying for the majority of the day how you were kind of one driver out of the front runners who wasn't making mistakes, along with Byron Daly as well. Do you think there's anything different that you're doing? Are the drivers pushing a little bit harder than you, whereas you're a little bit more safe and not making quite so many mistakes?
I don't know really. I mean, I know a lot of the guys, like obviously Mike and Josh and stuff, haven't been in the 3.5 as much as me. I've been pretty much on it for 3 weeks straight. I mean, it definitely seems to suit me than anything else that I've driven before, compared like speed-wise. I mean, I'm not quite at the top yet, but I mean, pace is kind of slowly improving compared to what I was in the MP430 in the 2.0. So I don't think it's anything different. Just I don't know really what they're doing, what I'm doing compared to, like, the difference. But yeah, I'm just trying to keep as consistent as possible.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to be the key across the season. Are you hoping to attend all the rounds and kind of build your confidence up in this car?
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking to just kind of take this season as how it goes, try and race in every race and see where I get in the championship at the end. And, you know, if it runs for a second season, I'll see what happens there and try and do the best I possibly can.
Yeah, absolutely. We wish you the best of luck to the end of the season. And before you let you go, Joseph, any shout-outs you'd like to give?
Yeah, just massive thanks to the team, Kevin, Pascal, and Ryan, who've been testing this week with me. And yeah, obviously you guys for broadcasting and the guys for organising the race, and Kevin and Alex. So, see you next week, guys.
Yeah, see you next week, Jake. I think we've already gone through how good today's racing was, Marco. This car, clearly, and this series as well, we should give out a shout out to the league organisers, as a couple of the drivers have already done with the live stewarding, of course, and a great organisation. But yeah, it's really providing some great racing so far. Single seats, as we usually do enjoy on Apex Racing TV, despite us not broadcasting too much of it. And yeah, bring on round 3. It's very exciting.
Absolutely, and if you like this, we are going to have another Open Wheeler Championship coming in January, because we are going to have the World F3 Championship, organized by the guys that organize the World GT Championship. So, if you like open wheelers that go a little bit slower than the 3.5, you are in luck, because that is going to be another cracking series, I think. Can't wait for race 3. It's going to be fantastic to see these cars run to the corners, the beautiful corners of Road America. The long straight, sweeping corners, hard braking zones, big draft between the cars. Of course, the DRS is going to be even more important there. I honestly cannot wait for next Sunday, Sam.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. Of course, if you are interested in signing up for the F3 Championship starting. I think on the 16th of January, may have just made that date up, but at some point around then, check out our Facebook page. And of course, we've got a couple of other series, the UAV8s as well, that you can sign up to. And also in this series, a little bit of a late entry, of course, but we've still got 10 more rounds of this championship to go. So if you really like the racing in this 3.5, certainly do sign up. More info on that can be found on our Facebook page. But thanks for tuning in, everyone. Like I said earlier, great to have so many of you popping along. And yeah, we really do look forward to next Sunday. Of course, tomorrow we've got no broadcast. It's Christmas Eve. Enjoy Christmas. Don't watch Apex Racing TV. Unfortunately, we're not broadcasting the Masters tomorrow. Neither on Tuesday either. But on Wednesday, we should be back for the ILMS. And then Thursday, of course, the BSR TC Winter Series, where I will be aiming for the lead in the championship. Should be very good, the racing in that. It's been quite chaotic so far. And of course, next Sunday, you'll be back with us for the Apex Racing League 3.5 Championship. But for now, from me and from Marco, we'll say goodbye, and we'll see you next time.